PS4 was released in November 2013, almost 7 years ago, and in those 7 years there have been almost 3,000 PS4 releases, many of which were either slept on or overhated at launch. Hey guys, it's Sam or Sammy Genius, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 PS4 games that I believe were underrated during the PS4's life cycle. I only have 4 of them with me, but don't worry, I'm still going to be sharing 5. Now these games are in no particular order, so let's go ahead and get started with number 1, which is going to be Yakuza Zero. Released worldwide in 2017, Yakuza Zero is an open world game where you take control of the series protagonist Kazuma Kiryu in a late 1980s Japanese nightlife setting where you get caught in a power struggle between rival organizations. Unlike most other games in the series, you can also take control of a second protagonist, Kiryu's rival Goro Majima. It's one of the more recent games in the series, but it does serve as a prequel to Yakuza Kiwami, or Yakuza 1 as you may know it. Now the multifaceted combat and storyline are the biggest sellers here, but Yakuza Zero also has a ton of fun, whimsical moments and minigames to lighten up the mood. Next up is number 2, Zero Escape, the Nonary games. Now this is actually a collection of the first 2 entries in the Zero Escape trilogy, being 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, and Virtue's Last Reward. The games are presented as dialogue-packed visual novels, but don't let that turn you off. The puzzle minigames, intricate mysteries, and branching storylines and endings based on your decisions are what really make these games. Both games have a colorful cast and excellent VA work, with 999 receiving VA work unlike the original DS version. In the first game you play as Junpei, a snarky college student who is locked in a literal sinking ship with 8 strangers and must find a way to escape a life or death game. In the second game you take control of Sigma, who is a college student as well, who's also locked in a room with 8 strangers and who also must escape a life or death game. I promise, these games are much more interesting than they sound. I just do not want to spoil any part of these fantastic mystery games. Now this third game is going to be a little bit more controversial. We have Fallout 76. Now we all know this game was really rough at launch. Plenty of controversies and issues. There are tons of rough performance issues, lack of NPCs, or even a solid storyline. However, in 2020, Bethesda did roll out the Wastelanders expansion, which made the world feel a lot more authentic and lived in. The expansion added a more traditional Fallout story instead of simply listening to holotapes like the base game had you do. There's actual NPCs, factional warfare like we're used to in the recent Fallout games, as well as Fallout 3-esque dialogue options. So there's no Fallout 4 style dialogue options, which I think is a great thing, because I did not like the Fallout 4 dialogue at all. And all these additions have turned the game from being one of those games where you kind of had to play with friends and make your own fun, to being a game that you could enjoy either with friends or even on your own. Now the 4th game on this list is another 2-for-1. We have the Metro Redux. That includes Metro 2033 as well as Metro Last Light. Both games follow the story of Artyom, a young man living in the Metro tunnels in post-apocalyptic Moscow, Russia following a nuclear war. The first game, 2033, sees Artyom trying to defend his Metro community against humans and mutants alike. And based on your choices throughout the game, you will receive one of, I believe, 2 or 3 endings. Now the second game, Last Light, without spoiling, is a follow-up to the canonical ending of 2033, and Artyom must deal with the consequences of his actions from the first game. Now the 5th and final game I'm going to go over, I actually don't own, but it is Kingdom Come Deliverance. This is another game which faced bugs and performance issues on launch, which, similar to Fallout 76, have been ironed out, but they did end up unfairly negatively impacting the review scores. The game is a classless RPG where you can build your own character into different roles like warriors, bards, thieves, or some sort of hybrid of them. This is going to be one of the more realistic games you're going to run into on PS4. There's a needs system, forcing you to sleep and eat to keep your character alive, and your equipment will depreciate and it will require repair. And finally, there's a combat. Deliverance has a very deep and complex yet rewarding combat system. This game is not a button masher. You're going to get out what you put in, and you'll need to take a tactical approach to succeed. That is it for my 5 underrated PS4 games list. If you guys want another list like this, let's go ahead and get this video to 10 likes and I'll make another one. And remember, some of these games are multi-platform, so just because you don't have a PS4 doesn't mean you can't play them. Now I did include consoles that you could play these games on in the little pop-ups in the video, so go ahead and go back to that if you want to see what platforms you can play them on. As always, make sure to like down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and peace.